Uh, I don't even know what I was watching with that Arkansas Oklahoma State. I mean, sure, it was exciting and it came down to the end and the double overtime and that, but my God, what a terribly played game, a terribly coached game. I don't know if I've ever been so frustrated and angry watching an exciting game come down to the end as I was that one. I'll get into it more tomorrow on the Your Season Is Over video, but I had to say something about it at the top of this thing here. It was just unbelievable. Look at Iowa discovering offense. Like Christopher Columbus discovering the new world, 1492. Iowa finally got a first down or two. Uh, that noon stream, well, it took it out of me. Texas put an absolute beat down on Michigan, just an embarrassing loss. Plenty more on that tomorrow on the Your Season Is Over video. Congratulations to Texas for a good win there. Georgia Tech goes down to Syracuse, so ranked for 1 week. Congratulations, nerds. Back to irrelevancy now. You'll be unranked again. You couldn't even beat the fruit. You lost to Syracuse. Some weird games at noon. Penn State struggled with Bowling Green. Tulane struggling, or Kansas State struggling with Tulane. Watching all the afternoon games now. We're coming up on halftime here pretty soon on most of these 3:30 games. I've been watching Kentucky versus South Carolina. I've been watching Baylor versus Utah, and I've been watching Iowa versus Iowa State. Defensive battle here, Kentucky and South Carolina. Kentucky just did get on the board here with about a minute to go until halftime. A field goal makes it 10-3. South Carolina on top. A little bit of an upset in the makings there. Kentucky was about an 8 to a 10-point favorite, depending on where you looked and when you looked. And right now, South Carolina giving them all they can handle. They're up 10-3. Neither offense playing great. Brock Vandergriff has not played great at all. He looks uncomfortable in the pocket today. A little strange there. I thought he would play better today. Not good. We'll see what happens in the second half there. Utah, listen, Utah's a problem for people. I talked about a minute ago about the Arkansas-Oklahoma State game and how just poorly coached it was and just the decision-making and just what are they doing? You watch Utah, and are they the most talented team? No, they never are. They can't recruit with the big boys, and I'm not suggesting Utah is going 16-0 and winning a natty 100-0 against whoever they play or anything like that. But you watch Utah play, everybody's in the right spot. Everybody knows what they're doing. Very rarely do they make any mistakes at all. Disciplined, tough, good lines of scrimmage. The coaching is A++. I mean, they rarely make a bad call or a bad decision. It's just, I don't know. I like watching Utah play. Cam Rising, it's good to see him back. They're all over Baylor, which Baylor's a complete disaster. Boy, was I wrong on Dave Aranda. I was a swing and a miss for me. Rare Uncle Lou L there. I thought Dave Aranda knew what he was knew what he was doing as a head coach. Turns out I was wrong. That's a highlight. I thought somebody was kicking a field goal. So Utah all over Baylor. Probably have to find something else to watch. Maybe I'll turn on the Notre Dame game. How are they doing against Northern Illinois? I'll tell you in a second. And Iowa, look, is Iowa some kind of offensive juggernaut suddenly this year? No. But they're clearly better offensively. I'll admit I didn't watch any of the Iowa game last week. They put up 40 points against an elementary school last week. I didn't watch any of it. I have watched this one. And again, they've got 10 points in the first half against Iowa State. They're 10-0. But so I'm not even necessarily talking about the amount of points they've scored here. You just watch them play. It's a different offense this year. Can they compete with the big boys of the Big Ten, the Oregons, the Ohio States, the Penn States, whatever? Probably not. But, man, their defense is good. They had a pick six in this. Was it a pick six they had in this game? Anyway. Their defense is really, really good. There's a toss sweep here. Big hole. 30, 25, 20, 15. It's going to be 1st and 10 Iowa inside the 15 with 1:53 to go. It's a better Iowa offense than what we're used to seeing. Now, let's get to some point and laugh because there's some alarming things developing as we speak. Notre Dame, with 8 seconds to go in the second quarter, is losing to Northern Illinois 13-7. Same Northern Illinois that beat Georgia Tech a couple of years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday. I don't know what Rudy's doing. Patting themselves on the back because they beat the 9th best team in the SEC last week, Texas A&M. Whoopity-doo. Now you're coming back home and you're losing to Northern Illinois. It's just absolutely embarrassing. 23-0 now. Utah up over Baylor. Iowa 10-0 over Iowa State. Mentioned that. Louisville 28-14 over Jacksonville State. So not struggling, but maybe you thought that one would be a little bit more out of hand. Here's something surprising to keep an eye on too. Cal is beating Auburn. Now this is interesting because Auburn, like Tennessee and Ole Miss and Mississippi State and Arkansas already lost. You had these teams last week that really aren't very good, but they scored 1 million points against elementary schools. You have to keep in mind, that's what these type of schools live for. Your Auburns, your Ole Misses, your Tennessees. That's what they want to do. That's the pinnacle for them, is beating a nobody 70-0. Because once they get into conference play, they're not going to be that good. And in the case of Auburn, didn't even have to wait till conference play. They're losing to Cal 14-7. Cal is one of, if not the worst teams in the ACC. And this is a home game for Auburn. Last year, you wrote it off. You said, well, it's at Cal. It's a weird, low-scoring deal. 14-7 Cal up on the barn at home for Auburn. This is embarrassing. Auburn, you need to get your shit together. I tried to tell Auburn, man, they don't have a quarterback, okay? Hugh Freeze is a decent coach. He'll take Auburn higher than Brian Harsin, obviously. But to reach any type of ceiling, he's got to have his quarterback in there. And Peyton Thorne just ain't it. And they routed off all these stats and whatever the fuck that Peyton Thorne had last week against a blind elementary school. And I tried to tell him, bro, we've seen Peyton Thorne play 4 or 5 years now. We know who the fuck he is. And you know who he is? He's a quarterback that's losing 14-7 to Cal with a minute to go in the second quarter. Still 10-3. South Carolina up on Kentucky. Michigan State and Maryland, good game there, 14 apiece. Washington up over Eastern Michigan. Washington's like a forgotten team, it seems like. They made the playoffs last year. Remember? Yeah, 14-6 they're winning. Wisconsin 17-3 over South Dakota. There's nothing really else. Boston College 42-0 over Duquesne. Same Boston College what beat Florida State. Amazing. North Carolina struggling with Charlotte 21-6. Nobody cares. Navy's winning. Shout out to Navy. Ole Miss 17-0 early in the second quarter. They'll win by 100 again. They love beating up on the middle school team. Shout out Lane Kiffin. Man, it's been a great day already. We have some big name teams go down. Michigan. Some near major upsets with the Bowling Green Penn State deal. Penn State hangs on and wins that one. We've got some good games going on here at 3:30. Iowa State, a 10-point game. Utah over Baylor. I'm going to turn this Utah game off and probably turn the Notre Dame or the Auburn game on. And Kentucky, South Carolina, not a lot of offense, kind of boring, disappointing in Brock Vandagriff, but 10-3. Who's got the ball here? Looks like Kentucky's got the ball just about in the red zone. They're on the South Carolina 27, 1st and 10. A minute 39 to go until halftime. So maybe Kentucky can come down here and tie it up before the half. Vandagriff in the pocket, steps up, going to take off running. Not much room, picks up 3, maybe 4 yards. Second down coming up for Kentucky there. Anyway, great stream at noon today. Appreciate y'all hanging out. We had a great time. I'm going to do it again tonight at 7 o'clock for the primetime games, but of course that's going to be on Patreon. I stream on Patreon every Saturday. They vote over there. You know, I put a poll up every Monday. You want me to stream at noon, at 3:30, or prime time? They vote, and I stream on Patreon for whatever time slot they choose. This week they chose the primetime slot. So, of course, you got Tennessee and NC State coming up tonight. Could be a good one. I like Tennessee there. You got Colorado and Nebraska. I like Nebraska. Clemson and App State. But that might be the one to keep an eye on tonight. And then Boise State and Oregon play. A bunch of other games, too. So I'll be back on live tonight, 7 o'clock, Patreon for all the primetime games with all the hollering and the screaming and the yelling and the cussing and the getting mad and everything else that goes along with the Uncle Lou game stream. So come hang out with us on the Patreon page tonight at 7 o'clock, and we'll watch all these primetime games. I'll put a link to the Patreon page in the description of this video. For those of you that aren't signed up and you want to go check it out, just click that link. All right, appreciate you watching. Good luck to everybody's team today, and I'll talk to you again soon. Have a good morning.